Hi, I'm Shirley Joy Joffe, and today I'm going to introduce to you the Joyful Abundance Blueprint. This is my own framework that has evolved over 2 decades of healing work, energy work, and 4 years of full time in this industry, where a lot of things had happened from personal experience and through what I noticed from clients of mine as well, that allowed this blueprint to firstly be born, and now to help many female entrepreneurs to change their lives. So the way I help people is I open up the space that allows them to be guided and to be empowered to uncover and amplify their unique spiritual powers and gifts, so they can unapologetically live their truth and manifest abundance with ease, joy, and flow. I work mainly with spiritually conscious female entrepreneurs, although so many others have crossed my path and have been blown away by the gifts and the unique talents and capacities that they possess, that they can now go and create their lives with a lot more ease than they thought was possible. So I myself have been through this journey, and this is why this blueprint was born. I came from a very culturally strict background, where not only it was considered normal for females to there was two paths. Either you would have the professional academic career, things like doctors, lawyers, that sort of thing, that was acceptable. Or you were a homemaker, and it was considered that even if you had the career initially, eventually you would have kids, you'd have children, and then you would drop your career because the man is the breadwinner, and you would be educated, but you would be considered a homemaker, a wife, a housewife. If you did continue to work, you were still the homemaker. So the male counterpart in that partnership, and it was always a marriage, let's be clear there, the male counterpart, and always male, was the considered part of the partnership, was the respected part. And you only gained that respect through how your kids behaved, how they grew up, how neat and tidy and abundant was your home. Were you a good hostess? Were you able to keep track of all the school stuff? The finances were left to the man. And if you got too interested in that, it was not your place. That was not what you were there for. You were there purely to homemake. Now, fast forwards, this already, when I was born, it wasn't that long ago, and there was still these cultural divides there. And as much as things have moved on from that, it's still something that is in most people's DNA. Many people's DNA. And even when they feel that they have moved forwards from that, they might notice that it pulls them back somewhat still, because what they're doing is they're resisting it, they're rebelling against it, or they're fighting against the opposite. So that's my my personal upbringing, and I resisted it all of my life because I have children now. However, it was never on my radar. Watching my mum working at home constantly, not having any appreciation, not really having any ambition at that time to do anything more than just have a neat, tidy, clean house. She was approved of when she budgeted with the money given to her from my dad. And my dad loved her, hugely. It was a very loving marriage. It was a very old-fashioned marriage. And my dad I saw him working 24/7. When I was very, very young, he was never at home. He was actually, the first year of my life, he was off at war. So he didn't even meet me till I was 1 year old. And then when he came back from war, he was working, he had his own shop and he was working 24/7 in the shop. He then also did minicab driving at the nights and weekends. He then got another shop. So you can imagine that he barely had any time. And when he did come home, I was born in a hot country and you'd have siestas. So when he did come home, actually, he would come in the afternoon and have an hour's sleep. And that would be that's what I saw of him. And yet he was super sensitive, super creative. He was really a manifester, he really manifested and generated money. He was really good with it. And he'd been brought up that the only way to really utilize that power was to work really hard. So again, this didn't sit right with me because, well, first of all, it wasn't much. I knew from the beginning that I could work hard, but it wasn't something that really suited me. I enjoyed working because that's what I was exposed to. And I still love my career and love my work. And yet I have to find new ways now. So over years of that and following that example all the way up until my early 30s, I was in corporate careers, very high flying corporate careers. I was in a fitness career before that. I loved to dance. So I used to put a lot of effort into dancing as well, creative, all these things. I used to try and squish myself in so that I was acceptable because dancing wasn't acceptable. But the way I did it, I actually picked a career that was semi-acceptable. At least I was in management. And even when I first started, my parents, it was a standing joke. My parents used to tell their friends and people around them that I was a manager, even though I was simply an instructor. That was what I was. So, and what I did, because I was rebelling, I used to stand there and think, yeah, it's really big of me. I'm going to tell people so that my parents don't have that pleasure, because I felt controlled, that I was an instructor, just to embarrass them. So you can imagine, what sort of energy that creates in your body when you are doing something that you love, feeling that it's wrong, feeling that you have to justify it, and at the same time knowing deep within that it's good for you. And again, still doing it in a way that society has expressed is the best way, which is with a lot of hard work. I was working sometimes from 5 a.m. till midnight, working and training. My body started to fall apart in my late 20s. I had to quit a lot of the things that I used to do, just through that. So I went on a personal development journey. And through all of my inner work, all of the healing, I eventually, just in the last few years, have come out the other end. And I'm still growing, obviously. It's still a work in progress. It always is. And the Joyful Abundance Blueprint was born. The framework itself is 3 elements. It is uncover, unlock, and unleash. And within those 3 elements, I guide my clients to go from struggle, control, and society programming to knowing themselves, having freedom, and being able to manifest easily in their way, with ease, a lot of ease. So from working really, really hard to working very, very little, with huge results, depending on their energy type, because that for me was the missing piece. It's all very well to say to someone to go from working very, very hard to going to working much, much less and being able to manifest. But actually, not all types of energies, people do that. They work in different ways. So where one person's type may be that they have endless energy, and I used to call these people robust people. Almost putting weakness on myself because I wasn't a robust person. I didn't have that strength and that persistence and consistency to be able to do that for an extended period of time. I could do it for short periods of time, but not necessarily an extended period of time. And I used to beat myself up about it. And oh yeah, I'm just not robust enough. That's what I would say. I just don't have a robust body. Little did I know that my energy works differently, and that when I work with it, I can achieve so much more, and I can achieve things that maybe those consistent people don't achieve, different things. So I learned many, many modalities and many techniques, and I mastered many of them as well. I'm a master in a lot of modalities and techniques and teach them. And yet I found that it was the combination of those and how that was put together when I worked with my clients that got the greatest results. So uncover. So I'm just going to go through all those three areas for you. So let's see where we are. I have lots of paper here because I can't remember everything, and that's okay. So uncover, the whole bundle within uncover is to uncover the real you by releasing the lies and misconceptions that you've held about yourself throughout your past, so that you can open your eyes to the limitless possibilities of what your life can look like when you fully claim your unique energy and desires. It comes in three parts. Uncover comes in when we discover ourselves, discover who we are, release what we have been programmed to think we are, knowing your actual design, how you function, how, not just energetically, because I like to work practically as well. My degree that I started was actually as a scientist. So I really like science. I love quantum physics. My science degree started as chemistry. So, you know, I love to know what's going on a tangible basis as well as on the intangible, which science is wonderful. You know, a true scientist is looking at how to, is looking at all those new intangibles actually. So we look at that by discovering who you really are. We look at, once you know who you are and you've released those misconceptions, we look at unleashing those desires, looking at what is the deepest desire, because many of us in the society that we're in have been told what our desires should be. You should want to get married. Your desire should be to get married as a female. I'm talking as a female. You should want to have children. That's another thing. You know, you often in Middle Eastern cultures, Asian culture, those sort of cultures, you're often measured. Your success is measured by, have you hit certain milestones in your life? Maybe marriage, maybe kids, studies, career. And for men, it's equally as demanding in other areas, but I mainly work with females, so I've been looking at that from that primarily. And then further to that, using your design, so looking at designing your personal, how your personal blueprint is actually designed, and working through it, as in amplifying and using all those gifts that are uniquely you, not what other people have as their gifts. So it's, for example, you see somebody who runs a private practice, they're thriving. They're doing 8, 9, 10 appointments a day, and they're going off and doing speaking engagements, or they're going out for dinners and lunches. If I tried to do that within probably less than a week nowadays, years ago, I could do that consistently for a month or two, sometimes more, but that's what led me to burnout. Now I am so in tune with what my design is, it will not even allow me to do that for more than a few days without going, hey, brakes on, this is not you. So do you know who you are? Because some people are like that. And I work with clients like that. And it's having them embrace that is the key. So that's the uncover portion. And once we've done that uncover portion, everything else is much, much easier, because when you know who you are, who your truth is, you can really then step into the rest of what life has to offer you. And I often jokingly say, if you did none of the elements within this Joyful Abundance Blueprint, this first one, the uncovering portion, it is an uncovering and a knowing is the key. It really is the key. Know who you are. And you've heard coaches, or if you're in this arena, you've probably maybe been in coaching, or you might have started to look around at the coaching industry, and you'll hear people say, stay in your lane. And then they'll go on to tell you what your lane should be. So I work with literally unhooking from that so that you design your lane. There may not be a lane that fits you perfectly. So design it. We can. That's the beauty of being the creators of our own destinies. We design it. So, and I get very passionate about this, because it is my mission to open that space for women to unlock that for themselves. So the next portion of the elements is unlock. And within this element is the freedom, flow, and fun part. And this is also around working out what your life purpose is. Now, there's a lot said about life purpose. I won't go into a lot of it here, but it's claiming that mental and emotional freedom within your own mind, within your own energy field, so that you live your purpose on your terms, to allow yourself to flow within the surrendering of who you are, the surrendering of what the universe is, and surrendering of your designed mission. So in this space, it's often talked about fate, divine destinies. And yes, I believe that there are certain things that not we've been brought here to do, but that will happen with our assistance. In some modalities, it's called divine timing. And people often misunderstand that and think, oh, there's this big purpose. That's my divine timing. Divine timings are simple, could be as simple as you're being in the right place at the right time, saying the right thing that switches someone else's brain from maybe considering taking their own life. And you find those along the way of your life path. They come into your awareness. They equally could be teaching huge amounts of people a whole new way of being. So I'm sure many of you have heard of Tony Robbins. He is living his divine timing. He has a big divine timing that impacts many, many people. And yet other people think, well, if I've just impacted one, that's just not really great. For me, that one is as great as the millions, because every soul, every infinite being is equally as valuable. So we cannot measure ourselves or compare ourselves. And that's another thing which this part of the program, the unlock, takes us out of that comparison, because it's our own space. And then the last thing, which I think is really, really important, is to have lots of fun. And oftentimes, if you've had fun as a child, and I say if, because some people have been brought up as, through their childhood, and then they've missed childhood. So actually they didn't have fun. They didn't have a childhood. So reigniting and relearning and rediscovering not just what is fun for you, but how to have fun. What is it? How to have it? And it may not be someone else's definition of fun. So what is your definition of fun? And oftentimes, again, we're told what's fun and what's not fun. Now, for some people, going on YouTube and learning math is fun. Some people, going out for the day with their friends is fun. For other people, recording videos like this is fun. For me, this is part of my fun. I love it. I love sharing this. So this is fun for me. So in order to record this video today, I've kicked my husband and kids out the house and set myself up in my beautiful healing space with my crystals around me, because I love crystals. My crystals around me, my books, my own work, because I write a lot of this down. I write, I'm actually being published this year twice. So a lot of this information is going to be collated. I love recording this stuff. This is my fun. Another part of my fun is going roller skating or going to the beach. So today I had the choice. I had the choice of fun on the beach or recording this for you. And it was not a compromise. Both are fun. And then what my question was, what will have the most impact? Not just on my life, but on other people. And for today, in this moment, this was the choice. So the last portion of the 3 elements is unleash. And unleash is all around abundance and wealth. Because being spiritual is wonderful. You can be spiritual and you can have wealth. You can be spiritual and you can have money. And you can be spiritual and you can have riches. And you can be spiritual and you can have abundance. And why have I mentioned all 4 of those? Because often they are misused. So prosperity specifically is to do with money. Wealth is more than that. Wealth can be not just the making money, but having money as legacy, money as other things, wealth of health. Now, riches are often considered the material goods. So many of you may have lots of nice jewelry. Those would be considered riches, antiques, artwork. And then lastly, abundance, which for me encompasses all of those. So which is why when I talk about manifesting wealth and abundance, I include all areas and all the areas that society doesn't even think of. To me, it is abundant to be in the world with a body that functions, breathing. This is abundance, because otherwise you'd be dead. Or I have been in that position where I have been bedridden. I have had autoimmune diseases through working too hard, really. So doing all the things outside of this, outside of this framework. And I've been very, very sick. I have been that person who's taken on all the emotional baggage and burdens of all of my family and everyone around me, which has manifested in physical dis-ease. So that for me is part of abundance. And equally, what afforded me to be able to actually take the time and actually just lay there because I couldn't do anything else was because I had streams of income, streams of wealth. I'd manifested money easily. And I never put a block on consciously on money being something that I expected in my life. That's not necessarily the case for others. And also, I'm still working through money blocks because trust me, if you are not flowing with it, there are still some blocks. And they may just be a case of, well, I don't need that much. Well, no, you don't need that much. But wouldn't it be amazing if you knew that you could generate it at will? So we work through money. We work through all of the definitions and all of the hooks around money. You know, the obvious ones, such as money makes people corrupt, money is evil, you have to work hard for money. All of these obvious things, we work very, very quickly through those. And then we get to a point of making money quite a magical thing that just flows through and just happens. I've had many stories where I've manifested chunks of money out of nowhere, seemingly. They've just turned up. So, and that's what I teach. That's one of the things that comes into that element. Magnetizing is when you are in complete congruence and alignment with yourself. You become a magnet. You become a magnet for all the things that you desire. Part of that is the riches and the wealth. The abundance comes through. You might be gifted holidays. You might just find people that are wonderful being drawn to you. And you can be that magnet in your unique energy way. So again, by emitting your own frequency, your unique energy type, and living that way, you magnetize on in a different way. And it's not hard, it's not difficult. And then lastly, manifest. Now, manifest, I've put in here, but really, manifesting is kind of like how and what. But what we're really doing here is actually talking about that you actually receive it. Is it here in physical form? Because you can dream and you can do rituals till they're coming out of your ears. But if it doesn't arrive, you're not doing that. So we go through how to bring it in, and that it comes in. So I do some amazing courses on allowing other elements, other universal elements to assist you, to support you, and then having your energy line up with that. So those are the three elements of the Joyful Abundance Blueprint. And if you wish to know more about how those are delivered, I've got a variety of offers of programs, all the way from free webinars, free masterclasses, to content that you can read, meditations and guidance, all the way through to small group programs, intimate group programs, and one-to-one deep containers. And each one focuses on a different area. And then if it's something where you would want to go through the whole cycle, there are 3 overarching programs, offers that I do that cover the whole framework, all the way from the uncover to the unlock to the unleash. And you can do that with or without the one-to-one support. It usually takes about 9 months to a year to go through that whole framework, and complete transformation can happen. My clients who have been with me for a year or over a year have really found that now they know themselves and they are still moving. They're not done, but now it's the next level. So they're continuing with me to go to the next level because they've done all the work leading up to it. And now it's a chance to keep creating greater. So if you do wish to contact me and to ask more about those offers, please do. You can contact me either through my Facebook page, Shirley Joy Joffe, my business Facebook page, which is Joyful Abundance Blueprint, or you can contact me by email if you've received the video that way. So various ways of connecting with me. My email address is connect@shirleyjoffe.com. So if you do wish to shoot me an email and you wanted to get on a call and see how would be best for you to maybe begin this journey with me and our energies fit, then I'd love to hear from you. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you with joyful abundance. Thank you so much. Bye.